Hey, I'm Meredith, a new mom to a beautiful 4-month-old daughter named Hope. She means the world to me. Hope arrived during a time when I felt incredibly vulnerable and in desperate need of support. It's been 8 months since I lost my husband, John. We were married for almost 2 years, and he was truly the love of my life. He was my first real relationship, and I always hoped he would be my last. He will forever hold a special place in my heart. When I was nearing the end of my second trimester, everything seemed to be going smoothly. John and I were over the moon about our upcoming baby. It felt like our family was finally getting that one missing puzzle piece. But then tragedy struck, and John was taken from me in a car accident. Identifying his body was a gut-wrenching experience, and I felt like my world had crumbled. I fell into a deep depression, hitting rock bottom. My parents, who lived in another part of the state, rushed over to support me as much as they could. They stayed with me for as long as possible. Then my best friend, Vicky, stepped in to help me through this incredibly tough time. They became my lifelines after John's passing. John's parents, Lindsay and Farrell, had always been kind and loving towards me, considering me part of their family. However, things took an unexpected turn one day after John's death. Vicky had moved in with me temporarily until the baby arrived. I was almost a month away from my due date, and given everything I had been through, being alone wasn't the best idea. One day, out of the blue, Lindsay and Farrell showed up at my place. It was a surprise visit, though they had been visiting frequently. Vicky wasn't home, and I was by myself. "Hey Meredith, it's us." "Hello guys, how are you holding up?" "We're managing." "Where's Vicky?" "She's out grabbing groceries. Peanut butter and pickles cravings, you know." "Oh, I remember those strange cravings. Pregnancy does funny things to you. Thanks for coming over. I miss John so much, but having you here helps. I feel closer to him when you're around. You were everything to him, Meredith. We are here for you, and soon you'll have your little one here. Speaking of which, how are the preparations for the baby going?" "Vicky has been a huge help. The nursery is ready, and we're just counting down the days now." "John would have been so happy. I wish he could be here for this. Speaking of the future, there's something we'd like to discuss with you." "Sure, what's up?" "Well, you know there might be some money that used to belong to John." "Okay, go on. What about it?" "We actually need that money now." "Wait, what? Why?" "See, that money was sort of ours to begin with. We put it into John's upbringing and education." "Seriously? And you want it back? But that money is for me and my baby." "Let me explain, dear. John might not have mentioned it, but we see that money as something we invested in him. We even paid half of his college tuition as his birthday present. We raised him and supported his education. It was a present. You shouldn't have expected to get it back. Anyway, I'm pregnant, not working, and I need that money for the baby. We need the money to take care of things at our house too, you know. And I would have loved to help you, but the truth is I will be raising this child as a single mother. I've got my own financial responsibilities to handle. I really need that money now more than ever." "You're being selfish and greedy. I bet you're secretly relieved that John is gone so you can have all the money for yourself. You pretend to be all concerned about your baby, but God knows what you're going to do with it." "How could you even say something like that?" I couldn't hold back the tears. I was utterly stunned by their behavior. 2 years of marriage, and this is how they treated me just because I refused to give them the money that legally belonged to me after John's death, especially when I was pregnant. It was unbelievable, and their words hurt deeply. I would never wish anything bad upon John. I decided that I didn't want Farrell and Lindsay anywhere near me. When Vicky returned, I told her about everything that had happened. She agreed with me. With Farrell and Lindsay out of the picture, it was just Vicky, my parents, and me looking out for each other and my upcoming child. It was a really rough time during the final stretch of my pregnancy. My mom came to stay with me. She's a devout woman and suggested we go to church one Sunday morning to pray for the baby's well-being. I agreed, so off we went. As we stepped into the sacred space, guess who we bumped into? Farrell. Of all people, he was volunteering at the church. My mom sensed things could get awkward, so she recommended we keep our church visits short and sweet. We prayed for the baby and left. When the service ended, and before we could make a quiet exit, Farrell approached us. "Hey, Meredith, can we chat for a sec?" he asked. "Sorry, Farrell, but my daughter doesn't want to talk to you," my mom interjected. "It's all right, Mom. What's up, Farrell?" Look, I'm sorry about the other day. Actually, both of us are. You know, Lindsay called you and all. Yeah, she did. I received all her voicemails. While she's regretful for what she said, it wasn't cool, and she didn't mean any of it. She's having a tough time dealing with losing John, and she kind of lost it. So could you maybe think about giving us another chance? What she said was way out of line, you know. Yeah, we get that. We said some messed up stuff too. But can we try to make things right? Maybe give Lindsay a call. All right, I'll consider it. I went back home and mulled over what Farrell had said. It occurred to me that they had lost their son. It wasn't just me who had lost their husband, so I decided to give Lindsay a call. Hey, Lindsay. Hello, Meredith. How are you holding up? Well, with the baby due in a month, it's getting more nerve-wracking by the day. I remember those days well. They can be incredibly daunting, especially considering John's passing. You didn't just lose your husband. You lost the father of your child. I'm truly sorry for my words the other day. You always brought happiness to my son. I appreciate your apology. I'm sorry for not returning your calls earlier. Your grief over losing your son is just as valid. Meredith, you're still a part of our family. I've been thinking, despite your reservations about a baby shower, how about we host a small gathering at our place? It would only include us and a few of our close family friends. I'm not sure if it's a good idea. It's getting quite late in the pregnancy. Don't worry, Meredith. We'll take care of everything. Consider it a gift from us to you. Well, okay, I'm in. I'll send you the details via text. It was a really sweet gesture from Lindsay to organize the baby shower, even though I hadn't initially wanted one. I talked it over with my mom, and she thought it was a nice idea too. The next day, Lindsay texted me asking for a guest list, and the number of people attending was set. The baby shower was scheduled for 2 days later. She told me to dress nicely, relax, and just enjoy the party at her place. Honestly, I was looking forward to it. We hadn't done anything fun since John passed away. I sent her the guest list and went shopping for a maternity dress with my mom. When the day of the baby shower arrived, I went to Lindsay and Farrell's place. It was beautifully decorated with balloons and flowers. My friends had also gathered there. Little did I know that Lindsay would turn the baby shower into a cry-fest for me. The issue arose because I invited one of my male friends from school, Chris, to the event. He had also been at John's funeral and was friends with him. He came up to me. Hey, Meredith, how are you holding up? Chris, it's been a roller coaster, but I'm hanging in there. Thanks for being here. Of course, I wouldn't miss this for the world. You're looking great, by the way. Thanks, Chris. It's been a tough few months, but I'm excited to meet my baby soon. John would have been thrilled. I know he would have made an amazing dad. Yeah, he would have. It's hard knowing our child won't get to know him. He'll live on in your hearts, Meredith, and in this little one. You're right. I promise I'll be there for you and your baby. Thank you, Chris. That means a lot to me. Chris was just being friendly. He was married, and there was absolutely no sort of flirting going on. But for some reason, Lindsay heard us talking and got fixated on this. She pulled me aside into her room, saying she wanted to talk. I can't believe you're throwing yourself at Chris like that when he's clearly into you. What do you even mean? Do you think I haven't noticed? It's been 8 months since we lost John. How can you even think of this? Chris is just a friend. He was even friends with John, and now he's chatting you up. What a great friend, huh? He has a wife, and you have the baby of your dead husband in your belly. That isn't stopping you. What? First you take our money, and now you're disrespecting our dead son. I feel so sorry for him. You don't know what it's like losing a child, but I hope you do. Do you even hear yourself? You better keep your little one away from me. I quickly wiped my tears away and decided to bail from the baby shower without making a scene. Leaving Lindsay's place, I felt a mix of sadness and betrayal. Seriously, how could she say those things about me and my baby? It was like she had turned into a monster. I was terrified of her. My mom, who could tell something was up from my face, came over worried. A few days later, she wanted to know what happened at the baby shower and why I had left so early. I didn't want to spill the ugly details, so I just said, it's the pregnancy hormones, Mom. I'm all right. But deep inside, I was far from all right. The argument had really shaken me, and I decided to keep all the hurt and nonsense to myself. A week later, Lindsay's name popped up on my phone. I couldn't help but feel anxious after what went down at the baby shower. I had no idea what Lindsay could want now. It was a text. I'm really sorry for what happened at the baby shower, Meredith. My emotions got the best of me and I said things I shouldn't have. I overreacted and deeply regret my words. Of course, I'd love to be a part of my grandchild's life. So here's my offer. When you're ready to welcome the baby, please drop me a message. I'd be crushed if I didn't get to meet the little one. I chose not to dwell on Lindsay's message. Forgiving her for her earlier accusations was enough for me, but her hurtful comments about the baby remained a nagging thought in my mind. I decided to set it aside as I had more pressing matters to attend to in the coming days. Then the long-awaited day arrived. My water broke and labor pains set in. My mom called Vicky to drive us to the hospital. I was admitted, and the whole delivery process began. Finally, I gave birth to a beautiful baby girl and named her Hope. I couldn't help but notice how she had inherited her father's nose and lips. John's memory lived on through her. After spending a night at the hospital, the following day arrived and my emotions swelled. I wished John could be there with me, and it hit me hard. In a moment of overwhelming emotions, I decided to call Lindsay and Farrell. I just needed some connection to John, even if it was through his parents. Lindsay was super thankful on the phone, saying thank you a gazillion times and assuring me that she and Farrell would be at the hospital within an hour. After that call, I sent my mom and Vicky home to freshen up, deciding to catch a quick nap until Lindsay and Farrell arrived. When I woke up, I was met by a surprising sight. Farrell was standing right in front of me, but Lindsay was nowhere to be seen. As I glanced around, I realized that Hope, my precious baby, was also missing from the room. I panicked. "Where is Hope? Where is my baby?" I cried. "Calm down, Meredith," Farrell said. "Where did Lindsay take her? Please tell me she's with Lindsay." "Yes, she is. Lindsay was here just a minute ago before you woke up. She took the baby with her. Can you please ask Lindsay to bring her back into the room?" "Not yet." "What do you mean? Let's get started. I want to assure you that your daughter is fine for now." "What kind of sick prank is this? I trusted her and let her into the delivery room, and she does this." "Shush, shush. It's not a prank. Now listen to me and don't say a word until I'm done. Lindsay took the baby with her. I can't tell you where, but don't worry. You need to do something for me. Transfer all the money to my account now." "What's all this craziness for? Money? I want my baby back. I will call someone." "Try to shout, and I will text Lindsay. I can't assure your daughter's safety if you do." "All right, get me my phone. I will transfer everything I have to you." I took my phone, and my hands were shaking as I transferred the money to Farrell's account. Farrell checked his phone. "That's like a good daughter-in-law. Could you please call Lindsay and tell her to bring Hope back?" "Okay," I said, my voice trembling. Farrell left the room, leaving me with a lot of questions. Where was he off to? What did he plan to do with my little girl? Given my weakened state from the blood loss, I was terrified and desperate for answers. I couldn't move on my own. Frantic, I called Vicky and recounted the horrifying situation. She assured me that she would be there as soon as possible. Anxiety gripped me tightly as I sat in a room, helpless, waiting for Vicky to arrive. About 20 minutes later, a nurse entered the room, cradling Hope in her arms. Relief washed over me as I was finally reunited with my baby girl. "Wait, where was she? Is she okay?" I asked, my voice shaking. "Don't you know? She was with your mother-in-law. She just brought your daughter to me and told me to give her to you." "Do you know where she took her? Is she all right?" "I thought she was in the nursery, but I'm not entirely sure. Don't worry, your daughter is perfectly fine." "Oh, can I have her now?" "Of course." I held my precious baby girl close, feeling a wave of relief wash over me. Vicky arrived not long after, and I shared the entire incident with her, not holding back. I even confided in her about the uncomfortable situation at the baby shower. Vicky was furious. A few days later, I was finally given the green light to go home. With everything out in the open and my mother having returned home, I made a significant decision. I couldn't let my in-laws get away with what they had done. They had taken my daughter from the hospital, even if it was just for about 45 minutes. After everything that went down, I knew I had to take some serious action. I hired a lawyer, not just any lawyer, but Chris. Our first move was to gather any evidence we could find. Hospitals usually have security cameras everywhere, and we thought they might have captured what really happened with Hope and Lindsay. Chris worked his magic, and soon we were watching the security footage from his office. We could see Lindsay holding Hope and leaving the hospital. The timestamp on the video was crystal clear. My baby was taken away, even if just for a short time. It was a cold, hard fact staring us in the face. The video also showed Lindsay returning to the hospital later with Hope. This footage was gold for our case. Then there was the timing of the money transfer. It was the puzzle piece that clicked perfectly into place. The money moved when Hope was taken. Chris built a solid case, making it clear they messed up big time, and no one could ignore the evidence against them. Before I decided to bring in law enforcement to make this a full-blown legal case, I felt the need to have a conversation with Lindsay and Farrell. Vicky agreed to look after Hope while I went over to their place to confront them. "You seem to be enjoying that money at transfer, don't you?" I began. "That money is ours now. Get over it," Farrell sneered. "You not only manipulated and blackmailed me into giving you what was rightfully mine, but you also kidnapped my daughter. Do you know that is a crime?" "Kidnapping is a strong word, Meredith. I just took her out for some fresh air, you know." "Lindsay, it's hard to understand your intentions. First, it's all about John's money. Then, at the baby shower, you accuse me of disrespecting him. Can you pick a side? Aren't you tired of playing the victim, the mother who lost her son, when all you seem to care about is the money? If John were here today, he would be ashamed and disgusted by you and what you did to me and his daughter. He would never have forgiven you. John's gone, Meredith. He's history. We couldn't care less. Time for you to get your pathetic life together as well." "What a remarkable father you are, Farrell. If this is about money, you better leave. I only dropped by to give you a heads up. You'll be hearing from the cops soon enough, so better call your lawyer, Lindsay." As time ticked on, things started to look up. Lindsay and Farrell got what they deserved. The evidence was stacked against them. The security footage from the hospital and the timing of the money transfer all pointed to their guilt. Justice was served with a side of karma. They ended up in prison for a year and had to pay back every single cent they took from me. It wasn't just a win for me, but for Hope and John's memory too. With the money safely back in my account, I decided it was time for a fresh start. I sold our house, full of memories both good and bad. It was tough saying goodbye to that chapter of my life, but it needed to be done. I didn't want to live in the shadows of the past anymore. I moved to a snug neighborhood close to my parents' place. Having real family nearby was a game changer. I decided to put my experiences to good use. I joined support groups for single moms who had been through similar things. Being there for them helped me heal too. Every day is a new chapter in this single mom's journey. I wake up motivated to be the best mom I can be for Hope. I'm determined to provide Hope with a loving, stable, and happy life. Recently, I've been contemplating a career comeback now that I have my parents to look after Hope. I'll be diving into that soon. Each day as we create new memories together, I'm reminded that we can find light even in the darkest of times. Hope has brought warmth and purpose back into my life, and for that, I am eternally grateful.